warheads are the most destructive weapons known to mankind, and Russia possesses more than 6,000 of them, more than any other nation, including the United States. The sheer amount of this power in the hands of a country that isn't an ally, combined with worries that Russia might use these weapons in its conflict with Ukraine if things don't go their way, is a huge concern for the U.S. To address this threat, the U.S. military has developed some of the fastest aircraft ever, the B-21 Raider. But what exactly makes the B-21 Raider so special? Join us as we unveil why Russia is terrified by the new U.S. B-21 bomber. This state-of-the-art bomber is a more advanced version of the B-2 Spirit. The B-21 Raider is designed to showcase the power of the U.S. Air Force, much like the B-2 does today, sending a strong message to potential adversaries, just as the B-2 currently does in places like Australia. Australia is a crucial ally and friend to the U.S., so when China started acting aggressively towards its friend in the Indo-Pacific region, the U.S. quickly boosted its military presence in Australia. They did this by sending 4 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, which are now stationed at the Royal Australian Air Force Base in Amberley, Queensland. This powerful display sends a message to China that the B-2 bombers, originally designed during the Cold War to counter Russia, are fully capable of targeting Chinese threats as well. These 4 B-2 bombers make up 20% of the entire U.S. Air Force's B-2 fleet and are a key part of America's long-range strike capabilities. Each B-2 bomber costs $2 billion, making it the most expensive aircraft ever built and extremely powerful. Since its introduction 25 years ago, it remains the stealthiest aircraft in operation. With a range of over 11,500 miles on a single refueling, the B-2 can reach any location in the world within hours, capable of deploying up to 16 nuclear bombs while staying virtually undetectable. The B-2 bomber is a marvel of aviation, but it's about to get a successor that will outshine it in every way. Introducing the B-21 Raider, a cutting-edge bomber set to make its first flight in 2023. The B-21 Raider is designed to be a long-range, heavy payload, stealth bomber capable of striking targets across the globe with both conventional and nuclear weapons. Northrop Grumman, the same company behind the B-2, is developing the B-21 Raider. This new bomber is packed with advanced technology, making it a 5th-generation global precision attack platform. It will feature network sensors and shooting capabilities, ensuring it can hit targets accurately and stay relevant in the 21st century. This is why it's named the B-21, symbolizing its role as the bomber for the 21st century. Despite being the latest and greatest, the B-21 will initially operate alongside older bombers like the Rockwell B-1 Lancer, Boeing B-52 Stratofortress, and the B-2 Spirit. Eventually, it will replace these older models. Northrop Grumman's winning bid was no surprise given their extensive experience with the B-2. To bring the B-21 to life, Northrop Grumman is collaborating with a top-tier team of 7 of the world's largest manufacturers. This all-star team of suppliers ensures that every aspect of the B-21 is built to perfection, paving the way for the next era of strategic bombers. This team of suppliers includes several top-notch companies: American aerospace manufacturer Pratt & Whitney, Europe's largest defense contractor BAE Systems, the world's leading aerostructures manufacturer Spirit Aerosystems, Northrop Grumman's Orbital ATK, Rockwell Collins, GKN Aerospace, and Janicki Industries. These 7 companies, led by Northrop Grumman, aim to create a groundbreaking bomber. This bomber will not only be able to gather intelligence, but also manage battles and intercept enemy aircraft. What makes this bomber truly special is its advanced technology. It will have intelligent sensors that can detect threats from far away, stealth features that make it invisible to radar, powerful weapons capable of massive destruction, and a flexible design that allows for quick upgrades with new technology. According to Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall III, the bomber might even have a drone flying alongside it to handle smaller missions. This unique feature is usually seen only in next-generation fighters like the Ongat FCOS and Tempest. So far, the B-21 is the only American bomber with this capability. Due to its advanced features, the U.S. Air Force is eager to acquire as many B-21s as possible. They plan to buy at least 100 and possibly up to 200, which is almost 10 times the size of their current B-2 fleet. However, with a price tag similar to the B-2, acquiring 200 B-21 SE would cost an astounding $400 billion. Achieving this goal will require significant cost efficiency. The exact cost of these aircraft remains unknown, as the Air Force keeps these details secret to prevent revealing too much about the classified project to potential adversaries who are working on their competing aircraft. The Pak-2 is set to become a new long-range bomber for the Russian Air Force, designed to evade detection while carrying a diverse arsenal for combat. It will be a subsonic aircraft featuring a large capacity for various weapons: cruise missiles, hypersonic missiles, precise conventional bombs, and even nuclear bombs. Its design, reminiscent of the American B-21, emphasizes a sleek flying wing structure. Similar to its U.S. counterpart, the Pak-2 integrates cutting-edge electronic warfare and stealth technologies. These advancements enable it to minimize radar visibility and reduce the heat signature from its engines. However, Russia traditionally values firepower over stealth, contrasting with American approaches. Therefore, the Pak-2 may not match the stealth capabilities of the B-21, similar to how the Russian Su-57 is less stealthy than the American F-22 and F-35. The Su-57 is regarded as the least stealthy among fifth-generation fighters. Russia is likely to improve its military capabilities as usual, especially with the new Pak-2 bomber, which could carry up to 80,000 pounds of weapons. This capacity might be more than that of the B-21 bomber. Similar to how the Su-57 fighter jet is better than both the F-22 and F-35, the Pak-2 is expected to start operating by the late 2020s. This creates an interesting competition among the US, Russia, and China, where China's H-20 is also entering as a fifth-generation bomber. China's H-20 bomber is entering this top category, resembling the B-21 and Pak-2 with its flying wing design. Although details are limited, confirmed images show its advanced features such as a weapons bay, airborne radar, adjustable tail wings, and stealthy air intakes. The H-20 is China's first native stealth bomber, expected to fly at speeds below the sound barrier and armed with various types of missiles, including hypersonic and nuclear ones. While the H-20 seems furthest from being deployed among its peers, this delay may allow it to make a strong debut if it meets expectations. The B-21 Raider, benefiting from decades of development since its predecessor, the B-2, has set a high standard in bomber technology worldwide. Its advanced engines, electronics, armament, and cost efficiency make it a powerful asset for the U.S. and its allies. Recently, during the Spirit Vigilance 22 training exercise, history was made with a significant event, an impressive lineup of 8 B-2 stealth bombers in what is known as an elephant walk. This display holds particular importance because, until the new B-21 bomber is fully operational, the B-2 remains the United States' most powerful and strategically crucial aircraft. Not only is it powerful, but it's also incredibly expensive, with each bomber costing around $2 billion. Currently, the Air Force operates a fleet of only 20 B-2s, making the participation of 8 of them in this elephant walk a substantial 40% of their total fleet. Captain Richard Collier, the Director of Operations for the Spirit Vigilance exercise, emphasized that this display was more than just a show. It was a preparation. It aimed to showcase the Air Force's capabilities to potential adversaries, including near-peer rivals like North Korea and China. Not long after this event, North Korea conducted a test of its Hwasong-17 intercontinental ballistic missile, demonstrating its capability to strike deep into the United States. Similarly, China also recently organized its own bomber elephant walk, featuring 8 of its advanced H-6K bombers, akin to the U.S. display. China is also developing its next-generation bomber, the H-20, which draws inspiration from the B-2's design, much like how the B-21 Raider is influenced by its predecessor. Scheduled to roll out in 2022 and take its first flight in 2023, the B-21 Raider represents the future of U.S. air power. It is designed to be an advanced stealth bomber capable of carrying heavy payloads over long distances, aligning with Theodore Roosevelt's "speak softly and carry a big stick" foreign policy. In essence, The B-21 Raider is poised to become the most formidable weapon in America's arsenal. The technology of the B-21 bomber is very advanced, designed to improve its abilities across different missions. It uses cutting-edge technology for gathering important information in reconnaissance and surveillance. In managing battles, it plays a crucial role by connecting allies in various operational areas. As a sixth-generation global precision attack platform, it excels in being hard to see, carrying lots of weapons, and delivering America's most powerful weapons accurately to important targets. The B-21's invisibility is assured through modern features developed over many years. Its stealth design includes angled edges, rough skin panels, and hiding engines under a special skin. The plane's overall shape also adds to its ability to stay hidden. Like its older model, the B-2, the B-21 will likely be covered in special paint that stops reflections, making it less visible during the day. At very high altitudes, over 50,000 feet, the bomber fits in with the sky, helped by its bottom, made to hide it. To keep this stealth advantage in different kinds of light, the B-21 has a sensor that faces up. This sensor tells the pilot when to change height, keeping the plane hidden from even the best air defense systems. All this modern technology makes the B-21 a powerful tool, able to do important missions without being seen. To improve the B-21 bomber's effectiveness compared to earlier models, it will have advanced electronic systems that are integrated into one unit. These systems include a radar with multiple functions, a fully digital navigation system combined with radar that follows the terrain and GPS, a navigation system that uses stars and planets for precise navigation, an advanced radar for accurate scanning, a system for electronic warfare, a system that captures images from different viewpoints, and a system for aiming using light, among others. For communicating during battles, the B-21 will use Link 16 and a satellite link that uses high frequencies. It also has a system for managing defense that warns the flight crew about possible dangers and allows for changing mission plans in real time. This means the airplane can quickly adjust to new information and plan the safest routes, which is very important for the safety of the whole group. Similar to the F-35 Lightning II fighter, the B-21 will be the main center in a system that combines different senses so it can smartly manage fights. For weapons, the B-21 can carry more than 30,000 pounds of weapons, like nuclear ones, such as the B-61 bomb, and long-range missiles that fly without a pilot. Apart from these strong weapons, it is also ready for many different kinds of weapons, so it can be used in all sorts of fights all over the world. The B-21 bomber is built to carry Lockheed Martin's strong anti-ship missile, along with other advanced weapons like Boeing's GPS-guided bombs. These features make the B-21 a top pick for secret operations, especially in tough places like the South China Sea, where it can effectively attack ships from far away. To stay ahead in a quickly changing battlefield, the B-21 was designed with a flexible structure, making it easy to add new updates quickly. With its many abilities, the B-21 Raider costs about $630 million each, which fits with what the Air Force planned in the early 2010s for a bomber that could compete well against its rivals. When it comes to competition, the B-21 goes up against the Russian PAK-DA and the Chinese H-20, which are both designed similarly as long-range strategic bombers with wing shapes that help them fly. These planes are expected to go at speeds slower than sound and carry various weapons like cruise and very fast missiles, plus advanced electronic warfare and invisible technologies. However, while the B-21 focuses on being invisible, the PAK-DA might be more about other abilities like big guns, which could mean it's less invisible. This mix of advanced bomber tech from the United States, Russia, and China sets the stage for a very interesting future in air warfare, where each nation's choices will decide how these strong planes are developed and used. The new B-21 bomber, called the B-21 Raider, is set to become a cornerstone of America's air defense plan. With a potential arsenal of up to 80,000 weapons, it far exceeds the confirmed payload of the B-21 at more than 30,000 pounds, and the undisclosed capability of China's H-20 bomber. The United States has a strong advantage in stealth technology and bomber development, likely putting it ahead in schedules for these advanced aircraft. Currently, the B-21 is the only one of those three bombers that has been publicly shown and is soon to be operational, following its predecessor, the B-2 Spirit. After 13 years of development, the B-21 is expected to be fully ready by 2027, marking an important moment for America's Strategic Air Force. It will work alongside upgraded B-52 bombers and is planned to eventually replace the supersonic B-1 Lancer and the B-2 Spirit, which have been the main bomber fleets for over 3 decades. The Air Force is positive about the B-21's capabilities, considering buying up to 145 units, a much larger fleet than the B-2S ever had. This new bomber, the B-21 Raider, represents the future of American air power, with advanced technology and capabilities aimed at keeping peace and security. The B-21 Raider isn't ready for action yet. Let's imagine a future conflict where the big bombers of 2 nations face off in the biggest war since World War II. The result may depend on which bomber is better. One competitor is the Tupolev Tu-160, also called the Blackjack. This plane is an amazing creation from a country that hasn't made impressive planes in a long time. The Tu-160, nicknamed White Swan in Russian, is the largest and heaviest military plane ever, capable of going faster than Mach 2. It's second only to the American XB-70 in size and speed. While there are faster planes, like the XB-70 prototype, the Blackjack is made for high-speed, deep missions into enemy territory to drop bombs, whether they're regular or nuclear. Today, it's the biggest and fastest bomber globally, using technology like adjustable sweep wings from the famous American F-14 Tomcat. Starting in 1967, the Tu-160 came from the Soviet Union's understanding that traditional bombers were no longer safe in the age of advanced jets. Instead of using stealth like the Americans, the Soviets chose sheer speed and payload, a plan that worked very well. In 1972, the Soviets started a contest to create a bomber with wings that could change shape and fly at speeds up to Mach 2.3. This design would have made it hard for existing missiles on the ground to catch them, as they couldn't move fast enough or turn quickly to hit the bomber effectively. The wings that could change shape were very important for this bomber to work well at both slower and faster speeds than sound. These wings allowed the plane to change its form, making it work best at high speeds. The Soviet bomber, called the Blackjack, was made to be like the American B-1. However, the B-1 plan was stopped later because the United States changed focus to making bombers that were hard to see and making the B-2 bomber. Being hard to see was seen as more effective than being fast at keeping bombers safe. At the start, just a few models of the B-1 were made before the project was put on hold. Later, it started again in 1981 because of problems with the B-2 program. The first version of the B-1 was shown to the public in November 1981 when someone on a plane took a picture of it at Zhukovsky Airfield. After lots of testing and making changes, the Blackjack was allowed to be made in big numbers in 1984. Even though it did well, only 36 Blackjack bombers were made in the end, with 27 used for flying and 9 for testing. This was much fewer compared to the American B-1, where 101 were made. The Soviet Union had money problems, made worse by the war in Afghanistan, and this made it hard to make many Blackjacks. However, the new Russian Federation faced a problem with the Blackjack bomber. Originally designed for long-range, high-speed nuclear missions during the Cold War, its role needed to change towards conventional warfare in the post-Cold War era. By 2002, all 15 remaining Tu-160S underwent upgrades aimed at adjusting them for modern combat needs. These upgrades had both successes and failures. The changes made it possible for the aircraft to carry various non-nuclear weapons, such as the KH-555 air-launched cruise missile. Additionally, improvements were made in communication, navigation, and engine life extension. However, plans to update the aircraft's electronic system were canceled due to high costs. It wasn't until 2014 that the first modern radar and electronic suites were finally installed. Efforts to update the Blackjack were further slowed by corruption within the Defense Ministry and challenges within the Russian industry and defense budget. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, many skilled experts and the companies they worked for became part of newly independent nations. This forced the Russian Federation to rebuild these capabilities domestically, with varying degrees of success. Russian firms struggled, as they historically have, to develop advanced engines. By August 2022, only 5 out of the 17-strong Blackjack fleet had received new engines. This slow progress highlighted ongoing challenges in revitalizing Russia's defense capabilities amid a complicated geopolitical landscape. After the Soviet Union fell apart, Ukraine got 19 big bombers, more than half of all Soviet planes. Russia bought 11 of them after long talks, and the other 8 were destroyed under the Nunn-Lugar Agreement. 20 years later, Ukraine regrets this choice. Even though the bombers hadn't been made for a long time, Russia decided in 2008 to start making them again, aiming for a fleet of 50 Blackjack planes. However, Russian industry had big problems after the Soviet Union broke up and during Vladimir Putin's time as president, including losing skilled workers in areas like using electron beams and making titanium parts. Russia finally put together a new Tu-160 bomber by November 2017, although it wasn't finished. They plan to start making a lot of them in 2019 and send new planes by 2023. In 2018, the first new Blackjack bomber in more than 30 years did its first test flight successfully. But because of worldwide punishment against Russia, the delivery of 2 new planes by 2022 was blocked. In January 2022, one Tu-160 did a test flight from a Kazan aviation plant airfield. This making of the Blackjack again looks like when the US decided in the 1980s to start making the B-1 bomber again. But it's just for now because of delays in Russia's stealth bomber plan, called Pact-A. Now, both plans could have unsure futures because of these punishments. Even though people think there are 17 Tu-160 bombers, only 11 are said to be working now. Every bomber has 4 strong NK-32 engines, the best engines ever used on a warplane. This lets the 110-ton bomber go as fast as Mach 2.05, a thing the US B-1 Lancer gave up to be harder to see on radar. The Tu-160 can bring up to 44,000 pounds of bombs or nuclear missiles inside, and it can also put long-range missiles outside. This gives it big power in battle and lets it go up to 6,500 miles without stopping, which can be made longer with the air refueling if needed. In the blue corner stands America's latest marvel, the B-21 Raider, a bomber that remains largely a mystery since it's not yet in active service. Even details about its predecessor, the B-2 bomber, have been scarce despite its 4-decade history. This secrecy suggests that uncovering the true potential of the B-21 Raider may take time, but we can still make educated guesses. Similar to the Blackjack, the B-21 Raider is a strategic bomber designed under the U.S. Air Force's Long-Range Strike Bomber program. Its unveiling in December 2022 was so secretive that only its front was revealed, and photographers were kept hundreds of feet away. Planning for the B-21 began in 2011 in response to growing threats from China and Russia. The aircraft was developed to counter sophisticated defenses and deliver precise strikes effectively. Unlike its older counterpart, the B-2, the B-21 is versatile and designed for both conventional and nuclear missions. This shift also signaled the potential retirement of the aging B-52 fleet, showing the Air Force's commitment to modernization. In 2014, the Air Force initiated research and invited industry proposals for a new bomber. The B-21 Raider specifications, including its size, stealth capabilities, engines, weapons, and sensors, remain classified. In October 2016, the Government Accountability Office mentioned costs as the reason for choosing the Northrop Grumman design over Boeing and Lockheed's proposals. The decision was based on financial factors rather than traditional considerations for weapon programs. Managing the entire B-21 program, the Air Force Rapid Capabilities Office aims to swiftly address emerging battlefield threats. This office is specifically structured to bypass bureaucracy and adopt ready-made solutions whenever feasible. Assigning the Rapid Capabilities Office to oversee the B-21 program underscores the urgent need perceived by the U.S. for the aircraft to become operational quickly. Northrop Grumman describes the B-21 as the world's first 6th-generation aircraft. Beyond its role as a bomber, the B-21 is designed to function as an intelligence collector, battle manager, and interceptor, showcasing its versatility. With advanced sensor and targeting capabilities, The B-21 can penetrate heavily defended airspace and guide other aircraft's weapons to their targets covertly. Initially planning for 100 B-21s, the Air Force envisions expanding the fleet to between 175 and 200 aircraft. Leveraging engine similarities with the F-35 could significantly reduce costs, potentially making the B-21 the first affordable stealth bomber. Despite historical budget constraints, by February 2022, 6 B-21 Raiders were in production, with the first public flight scheduled for 2023. The program's secrecy is so tight that the Air Force refuses to disclose the total contract costs, citing security concerns. Each B-21 is estimated to cost about $700 million, considerably less than the B-2 bomber. Australia has shown interest in acquiring B-21 to bolster its defense against potential threats in the South Pacific, where its current fleet of F-35s may be insufficient. The U.S. has expressed openness to Australia participating in the B-21 program. Comparing the B-21 to Russia's Tu-160, the latter holds advantages in speed and payload size, but the B-21's stealth and precision strike capabilities make it a formidable opponent. Designed for smart warfare, the B-21 targets critical military nodes to disrupt enemy operations effectively. In terms of longevity and environmental impact, the B-21 offers advantages over the Tu-160, as it does not emit harmful substances during takeoff. Despite the Tu-160's combat experience, the B-21's advanced technology and sustained funding are expected to ensure its operational superiority in the long term. What are your thoughts on the new US B-21 bomber that has terrified Russia? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section.